What? That's crazy. So now for us lonely ass gamers, you actually got an AI companion that I guess can go and get wood, chop wood for you. Can he hunt? He can hunt for you, maybe even fight with you. Please, dear Lord, don't let them delay this again. If they do, I may have a heart attack. What's happening, homies? Welcome back to Bite Size Clips. I'm Dope, and this is Sons of the Forest actual gameplay. We got like 8 minutes of gameplay from IGN. They got their hands on it, and we are taking a look at it right now. This is the first time that I've watched it all the way through. I've seen a couple little snippets of it and things like that, but that's it. That's all I've seen so far. And we finally have our attire on that we will be wearing during our Sons of the Forest gameplay. Check this mess out, son. I'll blend in with the cannibals. They won't even know that they'll think I'm a native. I'll be blending in. Bar the beanie, that's just for style, you know what I mean? That's for style points. Anyway, let's get this thing started. I've been waiting a long time. I feel like this is telling us that we aren't going to have to, they're not going to delay it again. You know what I mean? They're actually getting people to come and take a look at it, play it some. Please, dear Lord, don't let them delay this again. If they do, I may have a heart attack when it's announced. If they delay this one more time, I might actually have a heart attack. I'm just being honest with you.
Studio N-Night Games delivered on not just the popular gather and craft survival game format, but also added a surprisingly complex and equally bananas story featuring cannibals and mutants. With the immediate arrival of its long-awaited sequel, Sons of the Forest, comes not only the pressure to top the beloved experience of the original, but also to add some new and increasingly wild surprises.
Alright, right off the jump, it looks pretty good. It's looking pretty damn good, man. The look of it, I'm liking the way things are looking.
And based on the 5 hours that I've played so far, I'm not only excited about the sequel's potential, but also confident that N-Night could revolutionise the survival genre. The Forest begins with a simple premise. You've crash landed on a mysterious peninsula and begin your quest to survive at all costs. There was also the optional objective of finding your kidnapped son, a task that would take you down a wild and disturbing narrative rabbit hole populated by flesh-hungry mutants. Sons of the Forest largely shares the same setup, substituting your son for a
this is just all, he's just giving you a catch up on what the first Forest was about.
Billionaire. It's a basic idea, but one that allows you to jump straight into the action, allowing players who have no intention of progressing the rescue mission to solely focus on building their very own lakeside resort with some friends right away. Just like its previous.
You see him have to break the moss off of the tree first before he started hacking it up? How to knock the moss off of it, man? Come on, look at this cave. This is real footage?
Predecessor, you can play, build, and cause chaos with 7 of your friends in co-op, but you can.
Okay, so you can still run it with 7 people. It'll be you and 7 other people. That's crazy. Being able to run 8 people in a Sons of the Forest game. Looking forward to that. I don't really have no friends, but you know what I mean? If I had 7 homies, it's cool to know I can play with them.
Still see everything Sons of the Forest has to offer in single player. The big difference this time though, is that even when you play solo, you're not alone. Enter Calvin. At the very start of Sons of the Forest, you're introduced to Calvin, an elite soldier who not only survived the helicopter crash that stranded you on the island, but is also very much along for the survival ride as an AI companion. While Calvin has suffered some major head trauma that's left him unable to speak, his injuries have not, perhaps surprisingly, prevented him from being—
Bro, what? What? They built you a AI, homie? What? That's crazy. So now for us lonely ass gamers, you actually got an AI companion that I guess can go and get wood, chop wood for you. Can he hunt? He can hunt for you, maybe even fight with you. What? That's crazy. I hated having to go and constantly cut logs while I'm in the middle of a build. It drove me crazy when I was playing my solo playthrough. That's nuts. And to give him brain damage, how genius is that? Just point, hey, go get that. Hey. You chop tree, you know what I mean? Like, what? Damn it, it's still like weeks away.
Being extremely helpful. In an apparent effort to replicate the multiplayer experience for solo players, Calvin will follow you around and respond to commands issued via a bunch of handy quick select options on a notepad. He'll take orders.
Just write it down on a little notepad what you want him to do. Let's rewind that. All right, here we go. He does it with a notepad. Get. You can have him get. And what else could you? Follow me, get, build. Is there any hunt? Take item, follow me, get, build. Holy shit. This is versatile. Take item, follow me, get, build, fish. Get fish. You can have them go fishing. Get fish, get sticks, get rocks, get logs. Yep, and that was it for there. Maybe you can make him get more, but he can get fish for you. That's food. And then get logs and follow me. Get logs and drop here. Give to me. Damn.
Orders to see out your less than desirable busy work, such as chopping down trees and gathering logs. During my hands-on, the value of having an AI companion was immense.
I can already tell you right now, this dude is going to be Companion of the Year. 2023, Calvin is going to be Companion of the Year for video games. Mark my words. Haven't touched him, haven't played with him. Just watching him bring that bundle of sticks back, drop it, and know that he's going to just do whatever you need to and look like a gullible goof. I'm all for it, man. Holy shit.
Immensely noticeable. There was a huge benefit to sending Calvin off to find resources, while my co-op partner and I focused on designing our structure. I'd regularly turn around to find a fresh pile of logs for our disposal, with Calvin already on his merry way to collect more. Not only will Calvin somewhat provide company for solo players, but he offers helpful, time-saving resources even when in a group, putting a significant dent in the busy work of a survival game. This affords more time to either sculpt a masterpiece or plough forward on the cannibal killing quest. Calvin has a mind of his own though, well, at least to some degree. He sits down to rest when he gets tired and seeks water when he's thirsty. He'll also become upset if you treat him poorly, which makes him less productive and thus decreases the value as a companion.
Hell yeah, I love that. I love the AI behavior in the first forest, how the cannibals would react to you, how they would be more aggressive if you attack the women in their camps, how you could get them to not look at you as not being a threat if you kept blocking their attacks for days on end. There's a big video that went out around that. I didn't even know that existed. I played the game the whole time and had no clue if I just kept blocking their attacks long enough, they would not attack me. What? Finding out they're adding more crazy features to the AI and it being your companion AI. I like it. You can't just treat him bad and he's just going to do everything you say. I like that. That's cool.
If you decide you're not interested in having a worker bee along for the ride, you have the option to disable Calvin in the most realistic way possible. Shoot him in the head and you'll remove him from your session permanently. You're limited to one Calvin per multiplayer session, so the dream of a
Hold up, what? So to get rid of him, you shoot him in the head, and that gets rid of him permanently, and you're only allowed one per session. So if you accidentally shoot this man in the head, he's gone for good? Huh? Okay, so if that's the case, he definitely ain't fighting with you, which I don't give a shit about. I'm cool with just rolling out there by myself, but that's nuts, man. Your base gets attacked all the time. He's in there working and you gotta fend off some cannibals. You shoot that fool in the head, ding ding. No more Calvin. Damn, bro, this is gonna lead to some heartbreaking moments. Videos, streams, all kind of shit where they kill Calvin by accident. I actually hope that's a thing, you know? I'm sure they'll have a setting where Calvin can't be killed or something like that. But that would be awesome if you can turn it on and off.
Legion of Calvins can't be fulfilled, but the developers assured me that there are other companions you can find as you progress, each with their own unique AI. During my playtime, I caught a glimpse of Virginia, a mutant with 3 arms and 3 legs. She quickly scampered once I approached her, and definitely had more of a skittish sensibility than Calvin. But the developers told me that she can eventually be recruited, and will become attached to you over time should you be kind to her.
You can get a goddamn mutant on your team? You can get a Virginia to be your companion. So it's not just Calvin. There's other companions in the game. And that's just what IGN got to see in their little ass time playing. Who knows how many more other companions there are. But they said you can't have an army of Calvins. But does that mean you can have Calvin and Virginia? Or you have to have one or the other. You can't have them both. I'd like to figure that out. It's coming. It's coming, man. We're less than a month away, I'd imagine now, hopefully.
Compared her instincts to that of an elusive and independent cat, which stands in opposition to Calvin's lovable and obedient dog.
That's awesome, man. I love that there's differences between them. It's not just the same.
The AI improvements aren't limited to just companions though. On our expedition we came across several groups of enemies, ranging from a cluster of cannibals to a mob of monstrosities, each demonstrating their own impressive decision-making abilities. It felt like my enemies were thinking and making active decisions based on not only my actions, but also their situations and environment. Particularly in first-person horror games, enemies generally have two modes of behaviour, patrol and attack. But in Sons of the Forest, some foes would just be extremely wary and just interested in watching what I do, while others would charge in aggressively, only to back down when things didn't go their way. I saw enemies consoling their fallen friends, changing their clothes depending on the weather conditions, and even trying to destroy my newly erected home when my back was turned. It was clear to see that the enemy's brains were not only following coded rules, but also adapting their thoughts based on the external influences.
Okay, so all that is mostly stuff that was in the last game, but still super happy to see it. I would have been fine if they just made an expansion for the first game forever ago. You know what I mean? I'd have been super happy with that. But getting a whole new game is awesome. I don't expect them to have all brand new mechanics or anything like that. That's new. If that's the case, they're just putting on random clothes to go with the environment. That's new.
The developers explained to me that certain enemies with leadership qualities can influence the decisions of others and even promote ideas in their ranks such as religion, and that each individual has their own tastes, desires and proclivities.
Leaders can put ideas in their heads such as religion. I didn't know it was that in depth, or if that was something that was in the old one, or it's new, but that's pretty nuts.
From my small
So I knew there was a shotgun in the game. Now I'm seeing a pistol in the game. The pistol looks fire. It sounded alright, but I don't know if I want a ton of guns being in the forest, man. You know, I still, or maybe I just don't want ammo to be super abundant. I'm okay if there's a couple different weapons, as long as ammo's not, you can't just be Rambo in the forest, you know what I mean? I still want it to be a very survival-ish game.
taste of Sons of the Forest, I didn't really get a sense of how deep this system is and how much it'll affect your experience. But the teasers I saw filled my mind with dozens of possibilities. I saw enemies adapting to changing their ecosystem and weather conditions, which now cycle through seasons that change as you progress. I even accidentally triggered a war after I stupidly opened the entrance to the game's complex underground cave network and released a faction of mutants into the domain of another tribe. My simple decision caused their
What? He opened the entrance of a cave that made mutants run out? The caves can be interacted with the mutants now? Before, if you remember, the only way you got in the caves was sliding in and out of the wall, and mutants couldn't follow you there. They couldn't go in or out. Right now, he's saying that he went and opened the cave that wasn't opened, and once he opened it, mutants came running out, and that's them. These are the mutants fighting the cannibals right now. They can actually go in and out of the cave as they want to. Big fan, buddy. Big fan on that one.
living space to change and encouraging them to adjust their focus. And
I know I'm pausing like crazy, but I'm dumb excited. That is a change I didn't even know I wanted. That's a change I didn't even know I wanted. Like, that's an amazing change I can't wait for, but I had no clue that I even wanted that.
after that little taste of chaos, I can't wait to see how flexible this system can be. As you'd expect, the titular forest makes a return, and it looks better than ever. From the complex density of foliage, to the gorgeous rainfall and beautifully lit cave stalactites amongst the hanging corpses and mutant fetuses, the graphical power on show here rivals the majority of AAA releases. It was a joy to explore without even the slightest hint of repetition in its design. With a tease of bunkers, villages, and God knows what else in a world that's promised to be 4 times larger than the original, I can easily see myself getting lost.
Ding, 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 we got a winner. Did you hear that shit? They said 4 times bigger than the original. Whoa, what? 4 times bigger than the original? It took me a long time to get all the way through. Everything, completely done. Not just speed running it. 4 times as big as the original, larger than the original. Are they talking about map? Are they talking about just content? What are we talking about there? I wonder.
And then sidetracked in the wilderness for hours on end. But at its core, Sons of the Forest is a survival game, and so when you're not exploring, there's a good chance you're building. The construction tools have been significantly overhauled for the sequel. Gone are the floating blue ghost building blocks, replaced by user-friendly, realistic presentation of wilderness carpentry. Instructions are more literal, and actions are contextual. Instead of just loading resources into a ghost version of the final product, you're now free to, with magnetic and snapping assistance, manually place logs and sticks in the direction that you'd like, allowing for a complete customization of your structure instead of following a predetermined design. My partner, Calvin, and I immediately set to work on building a lakeside domicile of our own, and what began as a traditional design immediately.
We've seen that, the chopping the wood, we've seen that in the pillars. When you have post up and you want to make them pointy, you chop it and it breaks apart, so bang, you make yourself a little spike post. Now we're also seeing it on the ground. How you get smaller sections of wood is by chopping it down. I've seen some people say, oh hell no, I don't want things to be that tedious, but for me that just seems like, I think it's just like extra flair. I don't think you're gonna have to do that for every single thing you want to build. You know what I mean? Like, that's just extra stuff you can do if you want the look, or if you need a couple pieces for something. I don't think you're gonna have to mass produce little small logs to build a ton of different shit. Bro, that dude just pointed out an enemy that was behind him and pointing. He's pointing at the enemy. Watch when I unpause it, it's gonna be an enemy there.
Set to work on building a lakeside domicile of our own, and what began as a traditional design immediately blossomed when we realised the only limitation was our imagination. You're working on every placement by hand, and thus the structural points present not only a decision, but an opportunity for expression. I was informed that the option of the more traditional blueprint builds is still there for the purists, but I found the DIY construction far more appealing than the IKEA approach.
There we go. So we just got that answered. Blueprint thing is still there if you want that. But for the other people who like the DIY approach, there you go. So you got both options, man. That's another thing I really like about the Forest. They give you the option, man. You do what the hell you want to do. You don't have to be confined in one specific way of doing things.
Then, of course, there's the optional story to follow. From the teasers in the trailers, this is implied to be bigger and perhaps even crazier than the original, and hopefully continues directly on from the Forest's cliffhanger. But amongst the time spent constructing and fighting off hordes of cannibals, I didn't really get a sense of how the story was going to go beyond the initial premise. It did feel very familiar to the story of the Forest though, which I guess makes sense in the term of dropping players right into the action. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't have concerns that it could potentially retread old ground. My hope is this simply so.
They come with a squad. They come with squads. Did you see how many people was there? That was like a squad of 7. Let's count them. 1. All right, so I seen one run. We'll just count what's on screen. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 here. 5 in the background. There was another one. 6, 7, 8. 9 inside the house hitting. That was 9 enemies coming at 2. Remember, there's only 2 people in this game. So coming at 2 people, that's 9 enemies.
My hope is this simply serves as a jumping off point to go in some truly crazy directions, and it develops a narrative through line from the first game that still feels cohesive. But time will tell once I get my hands on the full game and manage to pull myself away from building a replica of the Ewok village and destroying the lives of the unsuspecting locals. Sons of the Forest appears to evolve and build on every aspect of its predecessor, with a focused goal of realism and developing a flexible ecosystem, and it feels like the building blocks are there to create something truly special. But its killer feature is the addition of impressively sophisticated and smarter AI enemies and companions that could not only provide a huge leap forward for the series, but the survival game genre as a whole.
Who was that? Was that a AI? Is this his buddy over here? Yeah, I think so. I think that's his player 2 that's shooting. Yeah, this looks like his homie. That doesn't look like Calvin. This guy's got black hair, and he's got a backpack on. Calvin didn't have a backpack. Also shooting a bow, which I don't think Calvin's gonna fight for you. I think he's just gonna be like a gatherer. He's got brain damage. Like, I wouldn't send my companion with brain damage into a fight.
And if you like that video and want to find out more about Sons of the Forest,
we did like that video. Everybody go sub to IGN, like their video. Publisher is New Night, and the dev is N Night Games. Definitely appreciate IGN for getting this out there. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for watching. I am so goddamn excited. It doesn't even make sense, man. It doesn't make sense at all. I've I've been waiting on this game for so long. I know a lot of people have, but it's coming, man. We're here. The only thing that I don't like, the one thing I'm not liking, is we didn't get an actual date. So we still know that it's coming out next month, February, but we don't know if it's coming out what day of February it's coming out. I just checked on Steam yesterday, and it wasn't there was still, it just says February 2023. So I would like to get a date, an exact date, but it doesn't look like they're gonna push it back. So let's just cross our fingers, toes, and anything else you guys got that you can cross, because we need this thing out. All right, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all take it easy, be safe, be better people, be better partners.